What up, fam? It's your favorite brother, your favorite cousin, your favorite uncle, your favorite father, your favorite nephew, your best friend's best friend. It's me, Dr. Larry, and welcome to the Living For You, the YouTube channel. For those of you who are always here, you know that, like I said, I'm Dr. Larry. I own a life coaching business called Live For You Coaching, in which I help people deal with trauma. You can go out to www.liveforyoucoaching.com and you can learn more about that business and possibly some of the services that we have. And for those of you who are brand new, I'd like to say welcome to the channel. I've watched that I've gotten new subscribers. I'd like to say welcome to you all. I love you all. Now that you're subscribed, you're part of the family. And while I love everybody, the family I particularly love because you're supporting me. You're here. So thanks for the subscription. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is a safe space, a positive place for us to have these great discussions and grow and learn with each other because I'm on the journey just like you. So welcome to the channel and thank you for subscribing. Those of you who are watching in periphery and who are just observing from the background, why aren't you subscribed yet? Go ahead and subscribe to the channel and just join the family. It can only help. There's no harm here. This is a positive place, a safe space where we as family come together and grow. So subscribe. Everybody, make sure that you like, comment, share the videos, and do all of those great things. And if you want to follow more about me and what I do on a day-to-day interaction, you can actually go and follow me on Instagram or on Facebook, and you can see me post about all kinds of things from coaching, from teachings, from educational stuff, historical stuff. My personality really shines through on my Instagram, so as if it doesn't here. Nevertheless, go ahead and follow me there if you want to follow me on Instagram as well and on Facebook. So welcome. This is actually going to be a pretty exciting week. As most of you know, I released my book, The Freedom Prescription, which you should go get, out on Amazon. It's a paperback that you can get, and you can get it on Kindle. And it's going to be a discussion that we're going to have. I'm going to go through a week, and we're going to go chapter by chapter, discussing points in the book and things around those different things. So look out for that next week. But this week, what I wanted to do was spend 7 days and do a playlist, a blitz, so to speak, of you just getting to know me. I don't want to be a mystery. I'm a total transparent person. I'm a very honest and open and realistic person. And so I would like you, those of you who are part of my family, to know who exactly is Dr. Larry. And so I'm just going to spend a week talking about me, which is a kind of an interesting subject. A lot of people like talking about themselves. I'm not one of those people who yabber about myself, but I feel it's only going to draw you closer if you get to know me, the man, the person, the myth, Dr. Larry. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to start today talking about where I'm from, where I live, my geographical experience, if you want to say, and all of the stuff that comes with that. So here's the thing. Dr. Larry is actually just a little short, cute, catchy way of saying my name. My name is Lawrence Smith Jr. So I'm actually Dr. Lawrence Smith Jr. But everybody I work with, whether it was in higher education, whether it's with my clients, whether it's with friends, refer to me as Dr. Larry. So it kind of stuck out. It had a catch to it, and people like it because it's just Dr. Larry. But it's actually Dr. Lawrence Smith Jr. I was born in a town called Lafayette, Louisiana. Lafayette, Louisiana is really kind of the biggest city in its area that it's in. You got places like Breaux Bridge, shout out to Breaux Bridge. You got Opelousas, shout out to Opelousas. You got all of these Church Point, shouts out to Church Point and Scott and Doosan. How y'all down there in Southwest Louisiana? We're roughly about 30 miles or so from the Gulf of Mexico. So literally when I say I started from the bottom, I literally started from the bottom. And I say 30, but it's more like 25, 22, 25-ish, whatever. So I literally started from the bottom. I was born there. I lived there for a good portion of my life and whatever. So what that means is so many different dynamics. There are so many different groups. That is a very diverse area. My particular diversity, I guess you would say, and add to that area is Louisiana Creole. I am a Louisiana Creole person on both sides of the parents, both sides of the family. My mom and my dad, both sides of the family are Creole. What that is, for those of you who are questioning, what does it mean to be a Louisiana Creole? is that it's just a blend of different things. It's a blend of European ancestry, it's a blend of Native American ancestry, and mostly, and the most prominent dominant force in Louisiana Creole is our African ancestry. And so that comes with many things. Like I said, that's our food, that's the way we talk, those are the languages we speak. It's even, for some of us, our religious tradition. Have you ever heard of voodoo? Voodoo is a Louisiana Africanized Creole religion. It's a religion, just like Catholicism, Judaism, Islam, any other religion. Voodoo is a Louisiana and other parts of the world, but it's a Creolized Louisiana religion. So I have people in my family who are practitioners of voodoo. I'm not, but it's kind of been in my circumference ever since I was a kid. So I know it, I respect it, I know what it is. And a lot of Louisiana Creoles will say that. We say we know it, we got people in our family or around our periphery who are practitioners. We know it, we respect it, even if we're not practitioners ourselves. So that's really what it means to be Louisiana Creole. That also comes with different languages. I am knowledgeable of the Louisiana Creole language. Not as fluent as I should be, because it's very much a language that's not spoken anywhere else but in a very small community. But I can survive. Like if I'm in an area and people are talking, I'll be able to comprehend and understand and engage and survive, as I say. But I'm more fluent in French, being raised in Louisiana, and in the French circle of Louisiana, there's a lot of dominance of French. So I'm a lot more fluent in French, really, than I am in the Creole language, but I understand the Creole language from ear. And a lot of my students who speak different languages and friends who speak different languages, they may not even be able to say things, but they understand the languages. When it comes to Creole, I can say certain things, I know certain terms, I'm more of an understander of it, having it being yelled at me all my life growing up. But French, French, you're required to take a certain measure of French classes in Southwest Louisiana, specifically in Lafayette, going through, I think it was from 2nd grade up until about 9th grade, we were required to take French as part of our curriculum. And then it's all over the place. The streets are named Rue. They're streets, it's French, it's all kinds of stuff. So I'm fluent in French. But what some people may not know is I am also very fluent in Spanish. I have friends who spoke Spanish around me. Spanish is spoken in certain areas. There's a place there in Southwest Louisiana called New Iberia. Shouts out to New Iberia. That's New Iberia, named after the Iberian Peninsula in Spain. And the people there speak Spanish, and I've had friends from New Iberia who speak Spanish. But I also was a Spanish major in college. And we'll talk about my education in another video. But I also went all the way up to being 3 credits short of, and literally 1 class short of completing a bachelor's degree in modern language and culture Spanish. But like I said, we'll talk about all of that in another video. So yeah, so I'm from Southwest Louisiana, Lafayette. That is my own stomping grounds. That is where I grew up. That is the land that birthed me and cultivated me into the person that you see in front of you today. And I hear people tell me all the time, sometimes in the comment section, sometimes when they meet me on the streets, I can hear it when you talk. You have that Louisiana thing that y'all do. It's not what they do in New Orleans, but it's something to the way that you speak. And I'm like, yeah, that's where I get it from. I'm from Southwest Louisiana, i.e. Lafayette. So that was my birth. And all my family, pretty much everybody with the exception of a couple of siblings and a few cousins, live still in Southwest Louisiana in some capacity, or in New Orleans. That's my people. So if you go down there, you can see some Briscoes and some Savoys, and you can see some Smiths and some Johnsons and some Landrys and all kinds of other names that you can think of. They're usually more than likely connected somehow to my family. In fact, an interesting little tidbit. There is a cemetery in a place called Grand Coteau, Louisiana. And Grand Coteau, Louisiana is a little bitty town right outside of Opelousas in the Lafayette area. And there's a cemetery called St. Landry's Parish Church Cemetery, St. Bartholomew or Bartolomeo Church. If you go down to that cemetery, which is, I always think it's interesting to go through cemeteries, you will see a lot of people who are related to me, like cousins and great descendants, the black and the white side. The white side that changed their name from Savoy, which was S-A-V-O-I-E, which is the original name, to S-A-V-O-Y, or opposite, you know, just to not be associated with the black side of the family. And that's, you know, history, and that's just the way it goes. But you go through that cemetery, and my family is highly represented in that cemetery at St. Bartholomew Church in Grand Coteau, Louisiana. All right, so that's my where I was rooted. And then as I grew up and I moved, I lived in places like Gulfport, Mississippi. I've lived in places like Savannah, Georgia. My dad was in the military, but I wasn't really a full-on military brat, but I did a whole lot of moving because my childhood was kind of interesting, or my growing up was a little interesting. And, you know, you guys know my story. If you don't know my story, you'll get bits and pieces of it, but you can also figure it out that I had a pretty toxic, rough, but engaging and sometimes fun and interesting and over-the-top childhood. It was what it was. So I moved in my migrations. My family settled, or my immediate family settled in Georgia. Columbus, Georgia, to be exact. And that's where I went to undergraduate school at. I went to undergraduate at Columbus State University. Shout out to the Krugers, where I got my degree in history. And like I said, I'll talk about my credentials, or my first degree in history. I'll talk about my credentials and my degrees and stuff in a later video. But Columbus is kind of where Louisiana birthed me and raised me and cultivated me. Columbus taught me so much also on this quest of what I call life. And so I have quite a few family friends, and a lot of people I know are in Columbus, Georgia. And I know a lot of stuff about the Chattahoochee Valley, which is Columbus, Phoenix City, and, you know, that Dalton, that whole area, Opelika. And so I know a lot of people there, and a lot of people know me and know of my immediate family there because of our experience. And my mom lived there up until the end of her life, and my dad is still there with hopes of moving back to Louisiana. And I have no siblings in Columbus anymore at the moment, but, you know, but Columbus cultivated me. So shout out to everybody in Columbus, Georgia. It's a very interesting place and also very dynamic, and it is a place rooted in a lot of history that I learned a lot from. And as I moved on and grew up into my own being and went to grad school and beyond and began my career, I moved to Atlanta. Atlanta. Shout out to the ATL, peace up, A-Town down. Atlanta, to me, I consider my second home because it feels like Atlanta made me the go-getter, the hustler, and all the stuff that I feel that I've been doing as with starting businesses and getting educated and learning stuff and growing. I feel like Atlanta is who cultivated me. And I stayed in Atlanta a long time. 10 years of my life I lived in the Atlanta, Georgia area. And so I'm pretty familiar with Atlanta and all that comes with that. But also Atlanta taught me so much about being a black man in America and finding pride in that and not allowing what naysayers outside of me say I should be as a black man. So I was definitely impressed, but also inspired and well taught and groomed in Atlanta. And so that moves me to where I'm at now. I live in Southern California, i.e. Long Beach, LA area. And it's a different experience from growing up in the South, being in the South all of my life. I've only lived in the South. This has been a different experience, but I would say it is a learning experience, it's a growing experience, but it's also an experience of me meeting new people and growing in many ways myself. So I've expanded in California as well, and I'm still learning on this journey. I've been here now at this point almost 7 years. By the end of this year, it'll be 7 years, and so I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm developing, I'm engaging in a lot of stuff here in Southern California. So that's me. I'm a Louisiana boy, Southern boy to my core. I love spicy food. I love Southern food. I love soul food. I love to cook. I love family. I love fun. I love a little booze. I'm very spiritual. Spirituality plays a deep connection into my life, and all that comes from my Southern roots. But I'm also sophisticated and savvy in the city life that I learned and picked up in Atlanta that I've been sophisticating here in California. So for those of you who wanted to know that, I am a Southern boy living in SoCal. Okay? That is me. That is Dr. Larry, aka Lawrence Smith. So that's it. I don't want to spend much time on these videos. I really want them to be 10 minutes, but I know because I got the gift of gab and I talk so damn much, you're going to get more out of me than just those 10 minutes that I intend to. Nevertheless, that's me, and if you watch this entire playlist, hopefully by the end of it, you have a complete understanding of the chaos and craziness that is me, Dr. Larry, and why I am the way I am. And so, merci, thank you, gracias for coming and showing up.
Remember to laisser les bons temps rouler. That means let the good times roll and just enjoy life and enjoy the present, and have yourself a good time. As I always say in all my videos, I love you, love you, love you, love you, and see you in the next video.